Welcome once again. Now it's time for us to take a look at communicative approach to testing reading. Communicative approach puts emphasis on the student's ability to use reading in order to perform a function or a communicative task. The items or tasks are directly relevant to the ability to use language for real-life communication. For example, instead of testing the comprehension of irrelevant or unimportant details, you can ask your students to extract key information which are useful to them. This satisfies their purpose for reading the text. Communicative tests in reading can make students better realize what reading is for. That is, reading is for learning, and reading is for communication. We read to get informed or to carry out the tasks. So we can also say reading is for information and reading to perform something. But of course, there is reading for literary experience too. What then should you consider in designing a reading test that is communicative? The specifications for a communicative item consider at least 3 key elements. The first one is the text. This is the stimulus material the students will read. Selecting the text is very crucial. It should come from authentic materials which students actually read in and out of the classroom. Here are examples of reading materials students normally read: textbooks, journals, newspapers, magazines, guides, letters, and others. For instance, a newspaper contains news items, editorials, feature articles, advertisements, schedules, announcements, and many more. The second element of a communicative item is tasks. This is the operation the students carry out. It is the tasks which realizes the language function to be performed by the students. There are natural or authentic tasks which are associated with the specific types of tasks. I'll tell you more about this later. The third element is the performance criterion. This is the basis against which the performance of your students is scored or judged. The criterion to be set determines how well they are able to complete the tasks. The nature of the tasks, as well as what you want to focus on in the assessment, spells out what performance criterion to use. Will the task call for accuracy of information? Will it call for clarity of message, appropriateness of expression, or amount of information? You can devise a scoring rubric or guidelines to apply the criterion for describing the performance level. If the performance can be scored dichotomously as simply right or wrong, the scoring procedure will be quite simple. This is the case when accuracy of information is used as the criterion. However, when criterion calls for clarity of message, some form of judgment must take place. Here is where the use of a rating scale may come in handy. You will see how this is applied in the example we shall provide later. Let us go back to the relationship between a reading text and a communicative tasks. We've said there are tasks which are naturally associated with particular texts. For example, you read a news article to get significant information about a current event. You read an editorial to determine the columnist's stand or opinion on an issue. While you may be able to derive information too from an editorial or a column, more importantly, you usually identify the writer's opinion and at the same time react to it by agreeing or disagreeing. These are the authentic communicative tasks for language functions which go with reading and editorial. The type of text, therefore, determines what communicative tasks you will want your students to carry out. You know very well that you often assign your students to read textbooks and other reference materials. What are the usual tasks they are to do? They have to look for definitions of an important concept, supporting details of an event, important findings of an investigation, similarities and differences between two entities, and other academic tasks. Again, these are authentic tasks which go with reading a textbook or a reference material. These examples tell you that you have to consider important, meaningful, and authentic tasks in testing rather than assess discrete reading skills which are often fragmented and irrelevant to real-life situations.